Worlds, baby!
Hello, perceptive readers. This is James Lynch, and I want to title this something dealing with all the sages' lifetimes. I'm gonna just call this the sages' lifetimes. In talking with people over the years, maybe you have seen this. You gave just certain people respect. I mean, maybe double honor respect. It could have been because of just their occupation and responsibilities they had. And yet, there are neighborhoods, and sometimes I mention the hard knocks of life, or as some people would say, even the other side of the train tracks or what have you, where the living conditions weren't always the best in some neighborhoods, okay? And yet, in those same neighborhoods, you will have persons uh, that some people would still just respect. Uh, and it wasn't always because they were over a group of persons either. It was still literally just who they were, their personalities and things of that nature. And and when you did talk to those persons, again, I told you, you just gave them respect. And one thing that I noticed, though, sometimes I can tell you that I wonder how some of those persons would be today, what they would deal with in certain types of situations. Um, in this case, I don't think some of these situations that we deal with today, they, I don't think some of the ones that, from decades ago, that they would actually deal with them. Now, with that being said, perceptive reader, I want you to know that I actually took quite a bit of time, a break. Maybe I should put some music before this to let you know that I took an intermission just because of some other things that came up. So this is actually the next day. So let me continue on what I meant about the respect for the sage and whether they were over a group of people or not. And I wanted to just give you these thoughts from my observation of why they were like that and why they were respected. And the word that still comes to my mind is that people knew that they could go to him or her as a mediator. See, do you know what a mediator is? I've looked up the word over the years. I was taught what the word meant and things of that nature to understand what Jesus was. You see, to understand what Moses even carried out or what have you. And it helps to resolve issues between two opposing factors. Basically, having a neutral stance, but very much knows spiritual, ethical, and even laws of the land. You see, spiritual, ethical principles, and even the laws of the lands to help, mediate or smooth out or help reconcile or what have you, whatever the situation happens to be. That's something that, Moses did. That's something that Jesus has done with his ransom sacrifice and his preaching work. And so, of course, you just have a lot of people who carry out those types of assignments or roles today. Some people call them lawyers. I just wanted to throw that in there. And I know some people say, well, maybe I'm not looking at that word in a good way. No, but let me get to see the type of environment, though, of the sage. See the difference between these different occupations and this person who may not have an occupation at all. What they know and what they've seen in life sometimes is whenever you have these two conflicts, especially ones that's going beyond, tit for tat and stuff like that, but literally serious altercations, serious offenses for one another or what have you, that when it gets to that level, then you see, taking it as face value, so to speak, they know both sides may truly feel they are in the right, no matter how they're responding in this way or that way. So even if they're wrong, they're sincere in their intent, even though they may be wrong, one side, of the situation, or both of them, or what have you. And what I've seen more than once, you see, so I know they've seen it in a variety of different ways too. I've actually seen altercations break out because of the not correct information, the needed information actually being related to this person in a timely manner or not at all. There's actually been, again, straight up incorrect information that they may have received from another party, and the other party actually thought the information was correct. And so going off of that incorrect information in itself caused serious problems. Yet guess what? Until a mediator got involved, people didn't even know exactly what was really the problem in the first place. In other words, was it a problem started because somebody just wanted to pick on another person, or was it because of just human mistakes? You see, human negligence, if you want to use that word. And so remember, I talk about negligence at times where people even pay different insurance and things of that nature. You know what fields those are, because those are even fields at times where that is really a very uplifting, honorable type of occupation that you want to help people in that way, so that when they do make mistakes or what have you, that it's really a mistake. It's not something that they really wanted to happen in that way. And so that's why they still pay that type of insurance or what have you. And so when you sometimes have two people at odds, they won't even realize that they're at odds because of something that was still really out of both of their control. And the mediator helps them to see that. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I told you people just are offended and they pick fights with one another. I'm just telling you in general, persons looked at in those neighborhoods at times, those individuals, because they really felt they were going to get a listening ear and a fair hearing, so to speak, even in the neighborhood, because if one person already knew that nobody else was listening to them, but they actually really did have the information to show that, this is exactly what happened, the sage would be able or would keep their soundness in their mind calm enough, so to speak, to let all of that, come out in the meantime, to really show what happened, why the altercation really did happen. If you remember when I told you, when you just got some persons that are at odds because of really no fault of either one of them, you see, in the first sense, but they just didn't know it. And then, of course, you have those other cases where I told you before, where it does get into things that are done on purpose, but I'm not even going to dive any further into that. What I want to continue to really emphasize, remember, about the respect, as I talked about, why they had such respect. I told you, I always admired sometimes just the emotional content of some of these persons over the years. I mean, even years ago. And the thing about it is, you may think because of in this one environment or setting that, they're just like that all the time. They're level-headed, they're chilled all the time. And that's the way, for the most part, because of the role and maybe helping some neighbors or what have you at times. Yeah, they were. But did you know that there's been some persons, and I'm going to say they were even on the level of being bouncers. You see what I'm saying? So that's a man, that's a job. It's almost like going into work every night, having to be prepared to fight. You see, and the thing about it is, I told you, some people they eat that stuff up. They keep themselves in shape. They work out and things of that nature, and it doesn't mean that happened every night, because it didn't. But I don't know of not one bouncer that I've met in my lifetime that didn't have to throw out or kind of like restrain somebody at least really once a month in some way, telling somebody they need to get it together or what have you. Especially when you got those strong drinks and stuff like that. So the point is, but that's the type of work. But this is what I want to tell you about. There are some persons who had occupations like that wouldn't call themselves even bouncers or whatever. It was just in different types of settings. But those same type of individuals who put up this front, this tough exterior and stuff like that, in the daytime, if you were to really see how they responded sometimes to persons who looked like they were hungry, they didn't even have enough to really eat or what have you. A beggar on the street. It could have been somebody in the bar the night before. I'm just making a joke about that one. But don't you know the way that they will respond to that person would even give them money and funds that I think would probably surprise some persons who were probably thrown out wherever they were thrown out the night before or what have you. But see, that's what I just want to continue to emphasize. People really still do have just different roles they have to carry out at times, you see, and they do the best that they can. And it's nice when persons actually are able to get that reputation. And I'm not saying as people pleasers type of reputation either. I'm literally really talking about that, push come to shove, this person is going to be neutral and sound mind for the benefit of the person or persons coming to talk to them about this problem or situation. Take care of yourself, Perceptive Reader.